Nice job this season. You've been performing well, and that's putting us in a strong negotiating position contract-wise. Plus, my 10%'s getting more valuable. So enjoy your break, and keep up the good work next year.
Welcome guys back to my F1 2019 career mode here. As you can see, Renault has given us the call as they're going to pay us a truckload of money here, as they have gotten a combined 8 points in the last 2 seasons and they really need to turn it around, and Ricciardo just isn't doing it. So they've hired the double world champion and me to fix their problems. As we move on to Melbourne here for round 1 of season 4 here, as there have been a good amount of team changes, as Hamilton is going to Alfa Romeo, Verstappen's going to Racing Point, Bottas is going to Racing Point, Perez is going to McLaren, we are going to Renault, Stroll and Albon are both going to Mercedes, as we have inherit 500 points there, as there looks to be a few upgrades they have brought along there. So hopefully that will make them better this season, as they are ranked 7th in car performance, a far cry from Alfa Romeo up in 2nd. As you can see here, they have, with a couple of seasons gone here, they have really starting to get up here in the higher tiers, but they still aren't that quick, as we will move on to qualifying.
We're just about ready to kick off today's qualifying here in Melbourne. It's the Australian Grand Prix. The competition is certainly heating up as we head into today's qualifying. Some impressive times showing up during the previous practice sessions. Anthony Davidson, do you think we can expect a similar level of skill to be showcased during today's qualifier?
Well, I certainly hope so. The competition here is extremely tight, and I think we might see some very close times today. Remember, practice isn't just about fastest lap times though, it's about optimization, it's about ratifying your decisions. No one's going to be sweating small mistakes here and there, but in qualifying that all changes. You need to nail that perfect lap or face the consequences, and believe me, that's a lot of pressure.
As we start out here in Q1 with about 50 seconds left here, as we start out with our brand new team of Renault here, as we are historically not been a very good qualifier in this career mode, as our average starting position is 8th while our average finishing position is 4th. So we are definitely a better race performer than we are in qualifying here, as we come around the final corner here at Australia, as we have the DRS here. As we fly towards the finish line, we will only be P18, a very far cry from where we're qualifying with Alfa Romeo, as our teammate Ricciardo is in 10th and he is way ahead of us, as we will have a lot of ground to make up in the race as we move on to the race.
They say that even a second is an eternity in Formula One, so going 4 winter months with no racing at all has seemed a very long time indeed. We're back though in Melbourne, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as I will be throughout this season, by a great racing driver, former F1 competitor, former world champion, and as he tells me all too often, an all-round top chap. It's the one and only Anthony Davidson. And tell me, here we are, first Grand Prix of the season, first time racing these cars. What are the big questions that need to be answered here, in your view?
Oh, thanks, Crofty. It's a real privilege to be here, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us this season. Now, to answer your question, one of the biggest things is reliability. Formula One cars are full of very sophisticated but also very sensitive technology, and this first Grand Prix of the season is going to push them to the limits. So the most important thing today is to stay out of trouble, get to the end of the race and keep everything in good condition.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Weber, Sergio Perez and Albon, Verstappen, Bottas, Butler and Roman Grosjean, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Magnussen, Sainz, Kvyat, Oldtimer and Nico Hülkenberg, Russell and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P17 because Stroll has already gotten a 10th place grid penalty as the fire lights are out, as we get away really badly there as we wheel spin in third gear, as that was not very appreciated as we are going around the outside here as we get a pretty bad launch off the corners. This is the one thing with the Renault, is that it does not have a very good acceleration, as we've already lost DRS here on lap 1 as we dive down the inside and we get absolutely swiped by Sainz there as we are down to P18 as we reclaim P17 from Hülkenberg, as we are right back where we started the race for a very short time here, as we are on lap 3 now, as we're going to go down the inside of Sainz here and squeeze him out, because I did not really appreciate that turn in on him as he is looking at us, and at the very last moment he's turned in, as he's gone down our inside at the very last moment as we turned in on him, as he really wasn't going for the move and then he went for it at the last second. Is there yellow flags there? Is there another big pile up again? For the third time in this career mode, there's been another pile up. This time at Australia, at the first race here, is it's Hamilton who's spun off of one of the Haas there. I think it was Weber. As you can see here, it's an absolute pile up here, as in season 2 at France, season 3 at Belgium, and now season 4 here at Australia, is everybody just piled up, and actually not a lot of cars DNF, but one of them was our teammate of Ricciardo, as there are about 17 runners left, but as a lot of them have lost their front wing or damaged a lot of it, they come around this right-hander and they are losing their front wings here, as you can see both of the Racing Points and a bunch of cars, one of the Ferraris, a Red Bull, as they are just piling up now here, as you can see, as that looks to be Hülkenberg has managed to not hit everybody, but there are only 9 cars left in this session as we come in to make our pit stop on lap 8 here, as Albon is behind us, as Hülkenberg has managed to make his way through here as well, as we stop here to make our pit stop, as it has been very lonely as everybody ahead has been spread out here. As we come across the line, we will pass Albon in the pits here. As we come to lap 10, Albon has even DNF'd, as we now have 8 runners, but since everybody else is DNF'd, he will get 9th place and 2 points there, as it is just unbelievable, as Hülkenberg, who did not score any points last season, is in 6th position, as Leclerc has started off his title fight with a win here at the very unusual Australian Grand Prix, as we will come across the line, come through the third sector here, as it has been a very dull race for us driving, as our skills have been pretty whitewashed here, as we will finally come onto the pit straight here, as we will claim 10 points, which is 2 more than Renault did all of season 2 and season 3 combined.
Beautiful performance from McLaren today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, you know what they say, to finish first you have to finish. And that fact was clear today, with lots of retirements having a big effect on the outcome of the race. As a driver, you tend to keep reliability concerns to the back of your mind and just focus on what's in front of you. But for the teams, races like this can be very stressful.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight. So, let's review the driver's standings. Charles Leclerc's points today take him to the top of the championship standings. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Old Timer.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren supplant the previous leaders, taking control of the championship. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.